So what I want to do today is to show you that some of the design aspects of Juniper have to be reconsidered after some time, because when you do some initial work on Junipers, what you basically do is wire and design most of the branches. That is all you normally do. After that, what I did was, as an afterthought, I erased the height of the juniper by bending the branches, I mean the trunk a little straight and making the trunk a little bit straighter, because I thought that eventually it should become a straighter tree, taller tree. Junipers, as you know, are from temperate climates, and they basically don't like so much heat. That they survive in Mumbai is only and only because of the high humidity that we have over here. But otherwise, in places like Pune, sometimes they don't really do so well. In Bangalore and some other places where there is good humidity, of course they do well again. But I just wanted to discuss some of the design aspects when we are considering junipers. See, basically junipers, because they are from the colder climates, and because they sometimes or rather many times face harsher conditions, climatic conditions, they lose some of their branches, some of their bark, and some parts, basically living parts of their body structure, and which becomes dead wood. And this is one of the main features that most of the people who work on junipers do try to develop. Now, if you divide junipers into what should I say, structurally into the lower part, the upper part, and the trunk line, basically, normally what you get is that you either get dead wood either on the lower part or on the upper part, and sometimes on the body. Now, you really can't show that a very thin trunk tree is very old or mature, but you can simulate age by adding some kind of dead wood on it, another body, foreign body dead wood, which is basically known as tanuki in Japanese, and it looks pretty beautiful sometimes, depending upon how the work is done. So there is one design aspect about this juniper that today I am going to discuss, is that when I have straightened up the entire trunk line, what I found was that this particular branch, the lower branch, is basically not so necessary for the entire design. So what I basically want to do today is to remove this branch. I can show it by just hiding this branch with my hand, and you can see that this makes a better design probably to my way of thinking. You may or you may not agree, that is another point. But issue is this, that yes, if there are two gins already on the lower part of the tree, then I feel that it is pretty reasonable to assume that some more gin might take place again at the lower part of the structure of the tree. So what I would basically like to do is to remove part of this, or the major portion of this branch from this point onwards, and convert this again into a gin which should mimic the position of this particular gin. So that being the case, what trick I am going to basically use is that I am not going to remove the wire right now. I am just simply going to cut off this wire at this point, and then I am going to cut off the branch at this point by removing the wire partially, and then if necessary again winding it up so that the position of the gin remains the same. But before that, before I rewind this wire, I will try to convert this into a gin. There are one or two more tricks that I am going to use today by using a small power tool that I very recently received from so I will try to show that particular video to you. But prior to that, first I should like to cut off this wire just before this wire junction, or rather this portion. I don't want to make it normally when you are making a gin, you can see that this gin is almost this big, maybe around 6 inches or just a little under 6 inches. So preferably this gin should not be more than 6 inches, preferably. It's not compulsory, because sometimes you can have a very long gin at the upper portion, but to my way of thinking right now, I would prefer it to be a shorter gin. So I'll just convert this into first cut off the wire, then remove the wire up to this point, then convert this into a gin. So here goes. Okay. Now whether to take part of this particular branch as the, sometimes you can very easily use wire pliers or not wire pliers, wire cutters to cut. They are tougher and sharper than the other scissors and concaves that you use, because they have to be able to cut wire. So sorry, they have to be tougher. The steel is slightly different. So okay. So I think I already cut this portion. Okay? So try to cut the branch at this point. Okay. Okay. This wire also needs to be removed. If it's a smaller bit, instead of bending or unwinding the wire, you can simply unwind it by unwinding the branch. Okay. Okay, now I have removed the wire to this point. Let me just check whether the video is running. Yes, thank you. What you need to do basically is to make a ring around the bar, at the bar, near the base of the branch, so that you don't carry the peeling of the bark beyond this point. Otherwise sometimes in your enthusiasm you might do that and you might spoil the bark over here. Now that is another thing that we need to discuss at some other point, the live veins, but more about it later. Right now what we need to do is, because this was a live branch, so it is much simpler to remove its bark than if it was a dead branch, dried up branch. Okay. What I have done is, with the help of this gin plier, I have simply loosened the bark over it. It will come off pretty easily even with your hand now. Right? This also can come off. The smell of juniper is like lemon, Okay. Nearly done. Just take a look. Yep. Yes, it does look better perhaps. maybe to my way of thinking. I'm not sure about yours, but yes. Now there's one more technique that I would like to show you right now with the use of a power tool, and that is after you peel the bark, what you can do, especially for this. I tried to peel the bark of this, but it had not come off so well. So what can I do? See, it's still live, you know. Can you see the green stuff underneath it? Yeah, that's junipers have that tendency. Even if they die, you know, sometimes you come to know that they are dying only after maybe 2 months after. I mean, the foliage remains green for a longer time. So you can really not know that the tree is dying. You have to be very vigilant about junipers in that sense. Okay, so what I can do is let me try this. I'm also going to try this for the first time. So please be with me. I'll try to use this. This is a new tool that I got very recently. This is I think they are using it for nails, cleaning of nails or something like. It's a mini power tool or wire brush, they sometimes call it. Not wire brush, basically it's a power tool. Okay, so this is pretty easy to use. This can be attached. There are various attachments. I will be trying to use these two attachments today. This is a sandpaper attachment and this is a wire brush, just to bring it closer for you to inspect. And this has got variable speed, small or this thing. You can just put it on. You can increase the speed. Okay, so I'm going to try to use it for the first time. So please be with me. Let's see how it works. Not very powerful. So yeah, I think this is the way. By the way, you have to take the precaution of wearing some kind of glasses. Let's see if this works properly. I'm going to increase the speed so that it's not so powerful a tool. It's just a very hobby tool, small mini hobby tool they call it sometimes. But whenever you are taking it nearer to the wire, be careful. Be very, very careful. But yes, it is doing some kind of a job. But if I am using applying pressure, it's kind of stopping. Yeah. I've seen people, or I've heard people who are more used to using hand tools than these power tools, and they swear by the hand tools. Sometimes I also feel that yes, the hand tools are better because you have perhaps better control on the thing. But yes, you can occasionally use these power tools. I don't know, if you're losing power. I close it, and better that I use some kind of a, what should I use? I haven't brought anything, but anyway, this can do a pretty good job of it, I think. Anyway, the basic issue that we wanted to discuss, or I wanted to discuss, was whether to convert this into a gin or not. Yeah. Now about this tip, if you just leave it in this fashion, it is going to be very blunt, and yeah, it's not going to look convincing like a natural gin. always going to give the impression that yes, someone has cut it off and done this manually. Always in bonsai, there has to be human intervention in order for the tree to look beautiful. But at the same time, human intervention should not be visible. That is the main funda. However, when you are wiring the tree, obviously, yes, human endeavor is always very, very visible. But yeah, over a period of time, once you remove the wire and once the shape is set, yes, you can always say that yes, there is minimal human intervention. I am not in favor of wiring or each and every branch of the tree or something like that. But sometimes, yes, it is very, very essential in order to really shape up the tree. So what we can do, I'll just try to show this thing to you, is that take the concave and take the lower end of the concave, and with that make cuts in this fashion, Okay, once I have made this cut, what I can do is I can either peel it off with the hand, or better still, catch hold of this with this wire plier and just kind of unwinding or peeling it off. Now once I have done that part, the other part can come off a little more easily. If that doesn't happen, yes, again you have got recourse to pulling it off with the gin pliers. The shorter the gin, actually the better it looks, depending upon, of course, its thickness. If it's very thin, sometimes it makes sense to have a really shaped up gin. Okay. Okay. Can you see this? This is being peeled off, and yes, the bark will look rougher because of that. Yes, that's it. Again with this probably, or yeah, can you see? Now you can simply crush it and peel it sometimes. But if it's very young, sometimes it doesn't really crush that easily. Yes. Now it has been shortened a little bit further. Slowly and gradually just peel it off so that it gets a little rougher texture. Let me just once more try this on this particular branch. Then this can give a rougher texture. I don't really think so, because this is a pretty weak tool. I would not really recommend buying this one. If you want to buy, you will have to buy one way attached to a bigger die grinder and a flexible shaft. That I think is better than having this kind of. Anyway, this was not so expensive, 1,500 or something like 1,600. So I thought that I'll try it, because without knowing what you are going to work with, or without buying something, you can't really know what they can do or what they cannot do. I once realized this aspect,